Hi, my name is Bill Slavin, and today I'm going to show you how to draw Otto, the elephant, from my graphic novel, Elephants Never Forget. To begin with, I'm going to teach you how to draw a couple of basic shapes that will help you create Otto, and a whole lot of other things as well. As you can see, the first of these is a circle. You've all drawn circles before, and they're not so, well, this one's a bit wonky, but they're not so hard to draw. But to make a circle into a ball, what you have to understand is a light source. So you can see here, I'm indicating with this arrow where the light will be coming on this ball. And then the area that's going to be shaded is this area that I'm roughing in at this point on the far side of where the light is coming from. The darkest part of the shadow will be on the far side of the ball, and then it gets lighter and lighter in this sort of curved shape as you approach the part of the ball where the light will fall on. You'll notice that I've left a little bit of a light area around the far side of the ball, the part away from the light source, and that's because the light actually hits the ground and reflects back and creates a slight light area around the edge of a ball, a circle shape like this. So, okay, that's the ball. Shape number two. Shape number two is going to be a cylinder, basically a tin can. So you can see I've drawn an oval, a flattened circle, and then I'm going to draw another one at the bottom. Now, the sides are going to obscure the back of it, but I'll just show you how that works with a dotted line, so you can sort of see the two ovals, top and bottom. That gives you your tin can. And then to make it look more three-dimensional, we'll do shading, much like we did with the ball, with the light source coming from the right, and so the shadow is on the left. And it gets darker and darker as you get to the edge of the cylinder, and then the darkest right on the far side with that little bit of reflected light on the left-hand side of the cylinder. All right, so what are we going to do with the cylinder? Well, let's take it and crush it a bit, bend it, and what we have now is a bent cylinder. Same deal. We do the oval at the top, the oval at the bottom, and just bend our line to join those two. A bit of a crease there. Can you tell what that's going to be? Here, I'll give you a hint. Put on some toenails, a little bit of dirt under one of the toenails. There you go. Some shading, just as we did on the circle and in the cylinder. And that bent cylinder becomes a leg. Okay, so now to Otto. Let's do our basic shapes here, just sketching, and I'm sketching very lightly. It's not going to show up that well in the video at this point, but as we go along, the lines will get darker. So I'm drawing a circle, and then a slightly overlapping circle for the body. You can see that now. And the second circle is a little bit elongated, a little bit narrower at the top. There's the one leg. It's a circle as well because it's foreshortened. We're just really seeing the bottom of the foot. And I'm roughing in the second leg. Again, you'll see it clear later, but it's sort of that bent cylinder shape we talked about. Let's see. The hat. I'm just roughing in an oval, and then on top of that oval, I'm putting one of those little sort of a squashed, truncated cylinder shape, and figuring out where the ears are going. This is all just my rough drawing. I draw very lightly like this because eventually what I'm going to do is darken it all, but right now I'm just trying to get a feel for it and make sure that everything fits on the page and where I want it to be before I invest too much time in my final drawing. This is really important. This is called sort of the underdrawing, or the basic sketching that you do before you get into the final bit of artwork. And it'll save you an awful lot of time if you can find the patience to just not get right into it. You can see now I'm kind of shaping in the elephant's nose. I'd started to draw his left arm right to you looking at it, and then realized that it would probably be obscured by the nose, so I thought I'd better draw the nose first to get a sense of where that is. So a little bit just touching up here and there, figuring where everything goes. And thinking about the coat, because Otto wears a coat in the stories. And there you go. Okay, now I'm going to start drawing a little bit stronger, and you'll see where we're going. So there's that squashed tin can for the crown of the hat, right? A little bit of a hat band. The oval, that would be the brim of the hat going underneath that. And a little bit of shading on the left side of that squashed tin can, just like I showed you before. top of Otto's head. So now I'm kind of shaping in his head. That circle that creates his head has to be interrupted by the ears, and the ears are sort of these amorphous floppy bits that will go on either side of his head. Um, Here comes his nose. Important part of any elephant is the nose, of course. The nose is really, in all honesty, a slightly tapering cylindrical shape as well. Now you can see I'm sketching in the eyes, and when you draw anything, you have to imagine what it's like when you're doing it. And in this case, I'm imagining when I sneeze, what do? I squinch up my eyes, right? So you guys see he's got those little squinchy eyes. Sketching in the other ear. You notice how the edge of the elephant's ear kind of flops over at the top, right? And creates a little bit of a flop of skin. Working on the arms now. The arm is that truncated, that bent cylinder that we talked about before, with the creases where the elbow would bend. And there's the oval, remember? That's at the bottom of the cylinder, slightly flared out to give the effect of Otto's feet. And now I can see I'm kind of sketching in where the coat's going to go on that, on the circle of his body before I actually draw the circle of the body, because the coat is on top. The coat's a bit of a conceit. I figured that Otto needed a disguise if he's going to wander around unnoticed in the big city, and so what I did is I thought, well, let's see, he'll get a disguise. He'll put on a coat and a hat, and then nobody will realize that he's an elephant. What do you think? Would that work? I don't know. Okay, so back to the 1 foot. The 1 foot is, as I said, is foreshortened. That means that the bottom of the foot hides everything else. So essentially it's just a circle with a couple bumps to imply the toes, but it's coming right at you. So that's all you see with that leg. But the other leg, again, we're back to that tin can, bent tin can, or bent cylinder shape that we talked about, and throw on some elephant toes and a crease and kind of check around where everything is. All right, now I can sketch in the other arm that is hidden by a lot of the body. So we're just seeing a little bit of it peek out there. A bit of his mouth, although most of his mouth is going to be covered by the body that's in front of it, and his tail, of course. And we're just about done. Now we're going to put in the sneeze, the big exhalation of air and sputum and everything else that's coming out of his trunk, and so you can see everything, his arm, his body, his arms, his body language, his ears, everything is kind of falling backwards, flopping back from that point of the sneeze to give that sense of him being blown off his feet. Now I'm trying to figure out now where I'm going to put the shading. You can see I was indicating the light source there up on the right with my pencil, and so now I'm thinking, okay, well, we'll start by shading those balls we talked about at the very first. So there's the ball of the head, see, darker, further away from the light. There's the ball of the body, same deal. I'm sketching in some light lines, and then it gets darker with that little bit of light on the far side, that reflected light, just to give them that sense of 3-dimension. Let's see. I figured the trunk would probably cast a bit of a shadow on his on the roundness of his body, so you can see that shadow sort of reflects the shape of the body. And some of the darker areas where the sun just isn't going to shine, underneath his ears. That's what you have to imagine. You have to imagine where's the light, how it will be blocked. Figure it would be blocked a bit by the hat, and by putting it like that, it looks like the hat's come right off his head, right? That part's going to be very dark. That's inside the back of his coat. And a little bit of shading on that tin can of a foot that we have. A couple of lines to indicate the pad of his foot, I'm just finishing up bits and pieces here, a little bit of shading on the cloud of the sneeze. And then if you really want to make your character look like they've been blown right off their feet, put a shadow like that, but down below, right? Not touching, but down below, and that sets them right off the page. And I think we're pretty well done. So there he is, Otto the elephant from my graphic novel, Elephants Never Forget, and of course, I get to sign it. There, that's how you draw Otto.